I'm Ashton from the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews, we have back with us Jonathan Shamoul, CEO of Aleph Cloud and LibertAI. Jonathan, welcome back to the show. It is great to see you again.
Hello. Well, I'm really glad to be here there again. Thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome. This time, I'm excited to dive into Aleph more. We spoke over a year ago on Aleph Cloud. I'd love to hear more on cloud computing, decentralized cloud, and more recently, the growth of LibertAI and decentralized and private AI, which I think is of utmost importance. I would love to hear more about that, and I think it's important that people understand the differences between something like OpenAI, which is really not that open, and decentralized private AI. So excited to dive into all that today. I would love to kick off our conversation if you could just give a high-level overview on what you and your team have built at Aleph Cloud. Then we can dive into everything.
Well, let me put that simple. Basically, Aleph Cloud is a decentralized cloud, as in when you are using AWS or like Google Cloud, for example, you can request servers like virtual machine instances. You can request storage. You can host websites, etc. Well, we can do the same on Aleph Cloud with a little twist. It runs on computer of people of the community who are running nodes of the network. And that's where it's decentralized. And where it's nice is because actually there is no cloud. Cloud is only over people computer. And here we make it really clear. And it's really over people computer. And then you know what you're getting into. And what we built also since last time, I believe, is confidential computing, where the node owner can't see what's running inside the virtual machines that are running on his node. And then since it's confidential, he can't look at like private keys, API keys, secrets, personal data, etc. And that's quite important if you are making a decentralized cloud. So like that's basically what we are building at Aleph Cloud, whole decentralized cloud with confidentiality built in.
Wow, I love that quote about the cloud. There's no such thing as the cloud. It's just somebody else's computer. And most of the time when you're going to AWS or GCP, that computer is owned by a party who might not have your best interest. And I think a lot of people don't really know where exactly, even they're storing their files on the cloud, where are those and who actually has access to them. That update on the confidentiality, that sounds very important. Could you explain a little bit more for those people who, explaining those differences of, say you want to run an application, say just a Web 2 software as a service application or like a DApp. If you go to these regular cloud providers, Amazon, there are risks involved with your information that I think people don't really understand.
Yeah, well, basically, when you request a standard virtual machine on, for example, AWS, Google Cloud, DigitalOcean, or like anywhere, employees of that cloud provider can go and see what is happening inside your virtual machine. Likely not all employees, because they might have a security built in, but if they want to, they can. And if there is a third party that like hacks them, for example, they can get in. And that's where stuff can get a bit problematic because people can't be bribed, etc. And like, if you have private keys on your instance, they can be extracted. If you have personal information, they can be extracted. And that's where it's really important to like look into it. Lately, in the last few years, there has been a lot of advances on what we call TEE, which are trusted execution environments. AWS has its own flavor, Google Cloud has its own, etc. But the thing is that it only runs on their hardware. And if there are, let's say, backdoors, you can't know about it because it's their own platform of TEE. So there could be backdoors that we are not aware of. While on a decentralized network like Aleph Cloud, we are using industry standard TEE that run on mainstream server CPU. Here we are mostly using AMD SCV, which are running on AMD CPUs, which can be broken. It happens regularly, but there are fixes. And then when you run your virtual machine, you can check and verify that those fixes have really been applied. On that, there are no active backdoors there. So that's quite important. And then the node owners can't see what's happening inside your VM. And we are making it pretty standard on like Aleph. You can either create a regular virtual machine, which is not confidential, or create a confidential virtual machine. And what we just did for the pricing is that we just halved the pricing of regular virtual machine and put the previous pricing, which was for regular, we made it for the confidential VMs, so that one confidential VM on Aleph is cheaper than a regular VM on AWS.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I've hosted apps on AWS before blockchain time, and it's really expensive. You know, it's crazy how much, and it's really complex too. You need to have a degree in AWS just to figure out how to run your app. And now, where does AI fit into this? Because with the growth of LLMs in the last year or two, there's a lot of information that it's also pulling from. Does that information get stored on the cloud, or when you pull requests or ask questions to LLMs, does that come from the cloud?
Well, that technically comes from the cloud because it's like huge data centers which have GPUs. GPUs is another important point that I didn't touch on yet. We just added GPU support on the Aleph.am network in private beta, and it will move to like public beta in the coming months, weeks. And the thing is that when you are talking with an LLM, what you are doing is what we call inference. For large language model, there is two big class of workloads. One, which is training the base models, which costs $100 million, or for DeepSeek, they say $6-7 million. That's yet to be proven. And what we call fine tuning, where you take a model and like add some layers into it and do what we call fine tuning to adapt a base model for like your own use. But when you talk with an LLM, you are not doing training. You are doing what we call inference, which is just using an existing model to like generate data out of it. When you do inference, it loads the model into the VRAM or RAM of the server, which is the volatile memory of the GPU, for example. And then it passes your data. Your data passes through the model. It's extremely resource intensive, mostly memory speed intensive, and then it gets you a result back. Typically, it runs inside huge data centers, which have hundreds of big NVIDIA GPUs to like get you a result. And technically, those big data centers are the cloud, because cloud is just over people computers, and huge data centers are called the cloud today.
Yeah, that's great insight. Thank you, Jonathan. And now Aleph is also working with the emergence of more of a private-focused AI, LibertAI. Can you talk about LibertAI and what exactly is the difference between something like ChatGPT and this kind of platform?
Yeah, sure. So LibertAI, just like OpenAI builds on top of Azure as a cloud mostly, LibertAI builds on top of Aleph Cloud. And the Aleph Cloud provides computing like CPU and GPU power support for the LibertAI product. And LibertAI is a confidential inference layer. And there is an app which is chat.libertai.io where you can talk with LLMs that are running on the decentralized network. And what we are adding now is confidential inference, where the inference is running inside those confidential VMs, so that when you start a session, it will find a virtual machine on the Aleph network that will run your LLM, and you will be able to like establish a direct connection with that virtual machine with no man in the middle there. And so your discussion will be encrypted end to end between you and the runner of your inference. And that's pretty cool. And also, there is another subject which has been touched a lot lately, which is agents. I'm sure everyone has like heard about agents. An agent is not just a Twitter bot that can answer your questions, even if that's what people saw about agents lately. Agents are like tools that are using large language models and continuously querying them based on input data and also timers, input data, stuff that happens here and there. You can personalize it, and then this software just does a virtual discussion with an LLM with like all these elements, and those what we do what we call chain of thought, function calling, etc. And those agents, most of the agents that we're seeing today are running inside regular servers that the developers control. And if you are trusting agents with your money, nothing stops the developer from taking your money because not just an AI, it's just a piece of software that runs on a computer again. Now, if that agent runs inside the confidential VM, the risk for the private key of the agents are way smaller. And also, if you add a layer of security where the developer can't take that private key no matter what, then your agent is pretty much safe, especially for DeFi, DEFAI, which is a new trend that is emerging, where you are trusting agents with money to like do DeFi for you. Well, then you really need confidential computing and a decentralized cloud for that. And that's where LibertAI is. It's providing confidential inference services, and also a whole agent framework with confidential agent deployment.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see AI agents and AI in general help take over our portfolios or actually trade. I think there was a big gap in what AI can do through inference and just speaking to it and actually taking action, especially on the finance side. And I think that's only going to grow in the next year or so. And with LibertAI, AI moves so quickly. I'm curious how long your team's been working on this and where exactly it's at right now, and if people can just go and use it today.
Well, LibertAI, we have started working on LibertAI something like 2 years ago now. So it's pretty mature. It works. You can already use it. For the agent framework, it's still in private beta, but it will go out of private beta really soon. And if you need access, we can already give you access today. And for the inference and ask question to like an AI, you can already use it today on chat.libertai.io. It works. So it's pretty mature. It's a product that works well today. It's evolving a lot. And the whole agent framework is also being revamped and adding feature, allowing it to like trade for you, do actions on blockchain, be used like as a Telegram agent, or just as a Twitter agent, or like a web UI. We are adding a lot of modules there, but it's already there. It works. It's live. In contradiction with like a lot of products today in the AI agent world, which are not done. Here it's totally done and it's live.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. And there's definitely some vaporware out there, and a lot of people have heard of AI agents, and very few have actually used one that's productive and doing something. So that's really exciting to see. And what do you think will be the catalyst for more people to move into private AI and switch from something like the Google or Claude, ChatGPT onto LibertAI and decentralized solutions? Because obviously privacy is a concern, but people get stuck in their ways of just using what they were using before. And do you think that the privacy functionality is enough, or the AI agent part, or just the quality of answers? What else can you do to move people over?
That's actually a good question. There is one thing which is your own private agent, which we are working on. Like right now, when you are talking with ChatGPT or Claude or like others, you are basically just in talking with an LLM. That's cool, but you can get stuck pretty fast there. If what you are talking with is not just a regular LLM but an agent, which is a piece of code in front of an LLM, basically it's just that allows function calling, then you are not talking just with an LLM, but with an agent. And if that agent can have all your personal information, even why not your credit card details, private keys, and stuff like that in the future, well, it can do actions for you. And where you are talking with an agent and telling it, yeah, hey, I want to like know, I want to like do a road trip between this city and this city. Can you recommend some hotels and stuff? You can do it today with ChatGPT and Claude. It won't be always up to date because they won't look on the web for you, but it will work. Now, if it's an agent, it can look on the web for you, and Perplexity already does it. But if it has all your personal detail, it can actually book all those hotels for you. And if you add voice to it, like, hey, I have no milk anymore. Can you buy some groceries for me? It will know which groceries, how to do it, etc. Get it delivered automatically. It can totally blend into your life. And if you add, there is something that I really like as well is local AI. That's something that is totally doable with decentralized AI. Like LibertAI, since it's based on Aleph Cloud, if you have an Aleph node at home, you can have your AI running on your personal node at home. And what I would be really keen to see in the next years is to like have your own AI at home that has the control over your house. And for example, it could get streamed the camera around your house in real time and do actions for you and know your schedule and do stuff for you. I wouldn't trust ChatGPT to like do it.
Yeah, and that sounds really exciting. And I think that's a majority of the work to actually have the AI be able to book the hotel or book the flight or cancel it and do things for you, buy your groceries. It's great to ask them where to go and they can recommend it. But actually booking it is what's going to save the most time.
Exactly.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that grows out. And I would love to follow along with LibertAI and the AI agents as it grows. I feel like it's going to come quickly. So with the the inference live and you're able to chat with it and the AI agents coming out, what else is in the roadmap for future growth, whether it's partnerships and reaching out beyond Web3 as well?
Well, there will be quite a nice event at IT Denver for those who go there. We will have on our booth a nice activity where you will be able to like try to talk and hack an agent to win an NFT. I won't tell more about it, but basically it's an agent that does action, which is distributing NFTs and do other actions on chain. And it will be on the Aleph Cloud booth at Denver. And it will be a decentralized agent based on LibertAI with another unnamed partner. It's some kind of a surprise there. But so these kind of activations are in the roadmap. And also what I really look forward to is the DAO angle for agents. What I'm talking about for the DAO angles for agents, for example, let's say you have an NFT, which is part of a collection, and that NFT has its own personality, okay? It can become an agent because it could get some kind of a whole background history, etc. And you could also tell it your own opinion on what it should do on the DAO, unlike the DAO for you. And when it's time to vote, you can either vote yourself, or if you don't have time, which is the case in 99% of the times for DAOs, you can just let your agent, which is your NFT, vote for you, and then take actions for you on the DAO. and then when it's time to vote, the whole DAO, which is itself an agent, can go and like ask each agent its opinion on that vote and let them vote for you.
That's great. I think DAOs need that because there's definitely a lack of participation or even just the hearing about it. You know, I've been involved in a few governance votes and either I miss it or I have to go manually go click yes, and you know, it's like that would save some time. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not going to ETH Denver personally, but that sounds really cool about hacking the AI agent to get an NFT. So that's great. In terms of growing beyond Web3 as well, is there anything in the works to build partnerships with more enterprise clients or governments or people to create more of a decentralized network for the cloud in growing outside of crypto?
Yeah, right now with Aleph Cloud, we are working on it. Unfortunately, I can't disclose the name yet, but we are working with a big corporation / agency to like deploy a lot of nodes on the network. That will bolster a lot our capacity of computing, especially on the GPU area, because we need to compute. We need to like compete on the GPU area as well, because mostly of the training and fine tuning side of things, and because models are like evolving. So there is this. Also, a lot of bigger corporations are started to understand the world need for confidential AI, and what I was saying in the last years, which is that open source wins, and that for AI, open source will win as well, and that the open AI monopoly won't last. Well, we just had a proof of it with DeepSeek. The whole DeepSeek moment is that like, okay, so actually open source AI can be even better than closed source AI. Why? Because they collaborate. DeepSeek built onto the work done by Llama, Mistral, Qwen, etc. And all this is open source work. And none of them could have gone so far if they didn't collaborate all together, willingly or like unwillingly, but they all take work from each other and they can go way further. While OpenAI are stuck in their own closed area because no one used their model architecture and no one can like contribute to it. While DeepSeek is close to like the whole Llama architecture, and so when there are advancements on that end, it can be reused by like Meta for Llama and by Mistral, etc., etc. And so open source wins. And since open source wins, it means that local AI and decentralized AI wins. And confidential AI wins as well, because you can run it on confidential hardware where you need it.
That's incredible. I really hope more people start to understand the importance of having local AI and the confidentiality. And yeah, you don't have to have every question that you ask AI into the servers on cloud, which is just somebody else's computer that probably doesn't have your best interests at heart. Jonathan, what is the best way to get started to test out LibertAI and get involved in Aleph Cloud as well?
For like Aleph Cloud, you can go on the website aleph.im and like our cloud front end, which is 26.cloud. And for LibertAI, you can go on chat.libertai.io. And if you want to like start getting your hands dirty with like our agent framework, you can fetch it on our GitHub, which is LibertAI, and talk with us on our Telegram group, and then we can create you an access to like deploy it dynamically. And that part won't even be in the near future because you will be able to like do it yourself. But yeah, definitely up to like even help teams. Like if you want to like build an agent, come talk with us and we can help you deploy it. Also, if you are a game company and want to like do agent stuff, we can get you covered. We are partners with Ubisoft and their latest game, Eden Online, which is in the Captain Laserhawk world is using our dynamic NFT system, which is based on Aleph Cloud, and we can also do agent stuff for games. So like that's pretty cool. So just get in contact with us on our Telegram groups or on Twitter.
Sounds great, Jonathan. I think there's a lot of companies that are really interested in how can we increase automation, not just using inference, but with these AI agents. So I'm going to leave those links to the socials and the Telegram and the AI and Aleph Cloud, all of that in the show notes below as well. I appreciate your insight into confidential and private AI. Wishing you and the team all the best in moving this part of AI in the industry forward. And I would love to follow up again in the near future.
Thank you very much.